Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the post-match review. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the match between Spurs and Stoke City. So, as we all know, the match ended 2-2 in the end. We're going to start with Stoke's performance, I think, with this, because I am a Stoke fan, as I explained in the last episode. So, if you are new to this series, and you haven't seen one of these before, I am a Stoke fan, so any of my views are quite biased, but that's with any fan. So, don't be too disheartened if I'm not particularly positive about any of the other teams, but I'll try and do my best to cover both sides. But we'll start with Stoke. I feel that in the first half we never really got into the game, because I feel going into the game we as fans felt that we could maybe pick up 3 points from this game because of what happened last season when we had players like Bojan fit, playing. He was having blinders every week, so I think going into this game, Stoke fans were very positive-minded, thinking that we could probably try and pick up 3 points, as I said. But starting the game, we didn't get into it at all. Attacking-wise, we were missing easy chances. Like, there's one with Juve, he misses it from about 6 yards out, like clear header. If he'd have put it either side of Lloris, he would have put it into the net, and I feel that sort of summed up our first half, because that chance came at the end of the first half, and after that chance was missed, Tottenham went on to score their second goal. But before talking about the second goal, we'll start with the first goal. Eric Dyer scored a header, as he did last season. At the start of the season, he's scoring goals for Tottenham, but this header from him, I feel we should have done a lot better with. Especially on this corner, we could have picked up, the defenders could have picked up the men a lot better. We had no one on the post, which I never really understood. If we're going to be defending set pieces in the future, we need to be having people on the post, because, as I said, Dyer easily went through towards the near post and slotted the header straight in. It was really easy for him, and I feel that we could have defended that a lot better had we had people on the post and in and around that area in the box. And I don't think Dyer would have been able to make his run if we did have those players there. But it was a poor first goal to concede. But I feel the second one, we were hit easily on the counter attack, coming straight off of Juve's easy miss. Ben Davies straight down the left hand side, puts a cross in, and Chadley was there just to slot it in. Took a deflection off Peters, which was it was disappointing, but he couldn't really do anything about it. So I'm not too disheartened by that second goal, but it shouldn't really have happened. We should have gone into half-time at least 1-1, especially with Juve scoring that chance. But first half performance was nothing on the second half performance. I mean, the second half performance, I don't know what happened in the team talk, but Mark Hughes somehow got us fired up, and we came into the second half fired up and ready, trying to get back into the game, and that's exactly what we did, which was fantastic. I think the point that turned it for Stoke was the substitutions of Stephen Ireland and Joselu. Joselu for his debut. I feel that in his debut he played very well, which I wasn't expecting too much from him, to be honest. I mean, we spent a lot of money on him, £6 million, for an unknown striker like that. He's not the greatest striker in the world. He didn't have the greatest goal-scoring prowess in Germany. So, to bring him in for that amount of money, I was a bit sceptical, but seeing him play, he looks quite quick for the size he is. I mean, he turned Kyle Walker easily, leading into our first goal, a penalty from Arnautovic. He turned him easily, and Walker had no choice but to bring him down and give us the penalty. So, if he can bring that into more games, I think he could be a very good asset for us, and he definitely showed that in the Spurs game. Now, Stephen Ireland, I never normally rate Stephen Ireland. I don't think he doesn't really bring his A game in a lot of matches that I've seen him play. He seems to be walking around a lot and not really interested in the game when I've seen him play at home and things. But I feel that when he came on, he had a point to prove, and he was trying to prove that to Mark Hughes to make him give him that starting position in the hole, because I don't feel Afellay did the best in the hole. I don't think that's his best position as a number 10. I feel that he's probably better as a winger, but Ireland came on and changed the game for us. I mean, he put that ball in for the second goal, and wow, what a ball that was. I mean, there was questions on whether Juve got his head onto it, but I feel that even with the motion of his head, he moved the ball into that corner. It forced a different direction of the ball, so the ball was exquisite though from Stephen Ireland, and I feel that he's had the most positive impact in that game as he has for any game he's played for Stoke, and he's played nearly like 75 appearances or something now. But what a game that was for him. He was playing through balls all the time. He even played the through ball to Jose Lu for the penalty, and he was running the game in the second half, and I feel that the second half really showed what Stoke can do, that we have a lot of desire to come back and get points from matches. We can grind out results, which is what we need in this season if we're going to try and finish a lot higher up in the table. We need to try and grind out those results and get back into games from losing positions, and that's exactly what we showed at Spurs. So I feel that Stoke gave a very good performance. Now, Spurs are a team that always really kind of confuses me, because they're a team that I always expect to do really well. I kind of like Spurs as a team, to be honest, but they're a team that I always expect to do quite well, but they never really live up to the hype. They always sign these great players, and then they sort of flop towards the end of the season, and I think they kind of showed that in this game. I mean, the first half performance, they looked very, very good. They looked like, especially after going 2-0 up, they looked like they were going to go into the second half the same and try and score a couple more goals, try and beat us quite heavily, which I was expecting, to be honest, at half time. But I don't really know what happened. In the first half, they were passing the ball very, very nicely. They had a lot of possession, which is what I expect a Spurs team to do. As I said again, I'm not a Spurs fan, so whether this is just my opinion on Spurs, so whether you're a Spurs fan, let me know if you agree with any of this. But I feel that they kept the ball very, very well. We were never really in it the first half because of Spurs' control over the game. I feel that if they can bring that to a lot of the games, especially against the bigger teams, they can try and get some great results, but they just need to be able to hold on to results, especially like games like this, because I don't know what it was in the second half. Maybe it was the Harry Kane substitution. They took Harry Kane off around 64 minutes, and I feel that was the turning point for them, because around that time we also brought on our substitutions and they sort of changed the game. And Harry Kane is obviously their main man. He's going to be, well, I think at the moment he's their only recognised striker that they had in the game. I know they brought in this other guy, but I don't know who he is. I don't know whether he's any good or whether he's just for the future or not, but Harry Kane is obviously going to be their main man. Him and Eriksen, the main two. Eriksen didn't really show that much. He showed some intent with some balls in the first half, but the second half kind of petered off and didn't really do much. But it's hard to say about Spurs, really. But I do think it was all about the Harry Kane substitution, because they brought on Eric Lamela, and for me, Eric Lamela hasn't done it. He hasn't really showed his potential like everyone thought he was going to be when they paid 30+ million for him. I don't know how much they paid for him in full, but he doesn't really strike me as the man you would bring on to try and get you a goal. He doesn't really score that many goals, so I don't really know why they brought him on, and especially to take off your main striker. Whether it was because of injury, like I said, I don't know, but for me it wasn't the right substitution, and it didn't really bode well for them in the game. So all in all, it wasn't a poor performance from Spurs, because they dominated the game in the first half, but coming into the second half, they sort of just dropped off. Like most of their seasons, they just dropped off, and I don't really know where they went, to be honest. It was a completely different team. You could probably say it was a complete game of two halves. Either team dominated each half, so it's hard to say about Spurs, but I don't think the performance was too bad, but I think going into a few games in the future, they could be playing some quite good football if they could do what they did in the first half against us. But yeah, it wasn't too bad of a performance from Spurs. Now, I'm going to get into who I thought were the star men for each team in the game. Now, I'm going to start with Stoke. I personally thought there was a few star men I thought for our team, but saying like Jack Butland, I thought he had a very good game again, although he did let in some goals, but I feel that going into the few games in the future, he could be a very good goalkeeper for us, and I think for the future, just in general, he's going to be a great goalkeeper, especially for England as well. So I feel he had a very good game. Stephen Ireland, obviously, but he didn't play the full game, so he doesn't really warrant the star man for me, but he definitely made a positive impact, and he was fantastic when he came on. So he was definitely up there for star man, but I think the star man for me in the game was Marko Arnautovic. He had one of his better games for Stoke City. I mean, normally with Arnautovic, he has a sort of 10-game spell after March where he sort of plays brilliantly well, like he's untouchable, but for the rest of the season before that he plays dire and he's absolutely awful. But I feel that in this season he might be getting into that form where he can do it consistently all season, and he kind of showed that in that game. It's stepping up coolly to take the penalty after John Walters, a usual taker, went off, and I felt that he had an all-round great game. He had Kyle Walker in his pocket all game, and he was fantastic, and that's why he's going to be my star man for Stoke City. Now for Spurs, there weren't many players that I thought were up there for star man. I think the main one, personally, was Moussa Dembele in the centre of the park, because I feel that in the first half, their game was mainly based on possession and keeping hold of the ball and working it round and slowly killing Stoke and grinding them down to get that first goal. And I feel that Dembele was the heart of that. He had the ball continuously in the first half. It was always past Dembele, and then he would go and feed it off to Eriksen or maybe Kane, feed a nice through ball. But Dembele ran the show for Spurs, and that is why I think he's going to be my star man for Spurs. Going into next week, both teams have quite tough games. Now, Stoke go into a game away at Carrow Road. They played Norwich away. Now, Norwich have had a very good start, I feel, especially with the win at Sunderland. That showed that they're not the whipping boys in the league. I never thought they were going to be, but I kind of had doubts with Norwich. But I think with that win, they showed intent that they can aim to stay up in the Premier League and that they're here to stay for quite a long time. But I think Stoke could go there, especially with this result, that they've shown some great character and that they've shown passion for the fans, and they want to get good results for the fans, and they want to win. So I think if they go in with the same mentality from the Spurs game, I feel that they could go to Carrow Road and pick up a nice win. Whether they'll do that, I'm not sure, but it could be a very interesting game for Stoke. Now, Spurs are playing Leicester at home. I think they're at home, or they're either away, I'm not sure, but I believe it's at home. But Leicester have started brilliantly. They've started a lot better than I thought they would, personally. And with them being in very good form, I feel it's a very similar situation to us. As we went to Tottenham, I think they'll believe that because they've started so brightly, they can pick up a good result again. And I think they'll play in a similar vein to us, and I could fear for Spurs in this game. I could feel that Leicester could pick up some points, but in the same way, you never know with Tottenham. They could go and pick up a 3-0 win against them. You never know. So whether it's going to be another tough game, I'm not really sure. I'd stick my money on a draw, but it's a tough one to call. So guys, that was my review of Spurs versus Stoke City. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it, because I know in the last one, the Liverpool episode, I know you guys really enjoyed it. It's one of my most viewed videos, which is fantastic. I'd like to thank you guys for that, and all the feedback you gave me on it, and we kind of created a discussion in the comments as well, which was fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted from these videos. It's not, even if you don't agree with my opinion, it's not really about that. It's about giving me your opinion as well, which is exactly what I want you to do in this one as well. Leave your opinions in the comments down below, whether you're a Stoke fan or a Spurs fan or just a general football fan and you've got an opinion on this game. Leave it in the comments down below, because that will help me out a lot, and we can spark a discussion and get one going about football, because that's what I like chatting about, and I know that's what you guys like chatting about. So leave that in the comments down below, because that will help me out a lot as well, and we can spark a discussion and get one going between fans, because that's what we want to do, really. Because we just like talking about football, really. Also, leave a like down below if you enjoyed it, because that'll help me out a lot. Show me you guys really enjoyed the video and you want to see more. Also, if you are new and you do enjoy the content, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below, because I will be doing more of these, and I want to know that people want to stick around and see more. So if you are new and you haven't done so already, be sure to hit the subscribe button. So, until next time guys, see you then.